History chapter 2, from trade to territory. Very quickly, trade. What does trade mean? Trade means buying and selling of goods, right? And territory basically means land, area, um, the territory of a ruler under that ruler's control, or the territory of a country. Okay. Now, why is this chapter called this, from trade to territory? Because in this chapter we're going to look at how, when the British came to India as traders, as we look at in this chapter, how did they go from being just traders to being able to control and administer and run all of the territory in India. Okay, so we're going to look at that history. Now, before we actually look at the chapter, first thing to understand that is important for us is to understand what are taxes, right? Now, taxes is money that is charged by the government so that they can provide certain basic services to run the country. Okay? And much of the money that the government receives, much of it comes from taxes, right? The idea usually is that the government should spend the money, the people who are in the government, right? They should use that money to help the people, to support the people, to make things for the people, not to take that money and sit on it themselves and use it for their own benefit. Okay? Now, next thing what we need to understand is that what is a private trading company. Okay, because we'll keep hearing this again and again, that when the Britishers came to India, they came as part of something called the English East India Company, that you can see here, right? So then what is the East India Company? It is a private trading company. What does that mean? That means it is not run or controlled by the government, and it is owned and managed by a group of people or one person. And a trading company is a company that deals in import and export of goods. उनका business, trading company का business ही वही है. अब प्राइवेट ट्रेडिंग कंपनी एक ऐसी ट्रेडिंग कंपनी जो import and export of goods में उसका business है, and that is run not by the government but by some individual or a group of individuals. Keep that in mind every time you hear the word English East India Company. Keep that in mind, that the East India Company was not run by the British government. Okay, that is important to keep in mind. Now, first, everyone to quickly note down these new words on page 10 before we move forward. Here, when we say sell dear, we basically means sell it. Dear means more expensive. Okay, now, what is the East India Company? What is the story of the East India Company? It was a private trading company, the East India Company, that was established in 1600, and it was granted a royal charter by Queen Elizabeth I. So Queen Elizabeth I was the ruler of England at that point of time, and when she gave this charter, what did the charter basically say? That the East India Company would be the only trading company in England. इंग्लैंड में ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी के अलावा भी अलग अलग ट्रेडिंग कंपनीज थी, लेकिन ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी को ये चार्टर गेव द राइट that it would be the only trading company who would trade in the east basically, towards India, towards Africa, towards China, towards Southeast Asia. Okay, other countries they could trade towards the west, towards North America or South America. Okay, so that was the one benefit the East India Company got. Now, the East India Company was a mercantile business. And you see in your textbook also, the meaning of mercantile is given. The whole idea about a mercantile business is that they want to buy things at a cheaper rate and sell it for as much profit as they can. So they sell it at a higher price. And while they were doing this, uh, since chalo in England no other trading company could trade in India, because that was what the royal charter said. But Europe as a whole, England is a country, Europe is the continent. Why will other European countries follow Queen Elizabeth ka diya gaya charter? So the other European trading companies, so you had the Portuguese, you had the French, you had the Dutch, which was from Netherlands. These people continued to trade with the east, this region, right? So they would come from here, they would travel down the Cape of Good Hope and trade over here, this region. So apart from the English East India Company that was doing this trade, you also had the French East India Company, you had the Dutch East India Company. All of them were also trading. So the East India Company, English East India Company, had a lot of competition with them, because everybody wanted to buy things from India and go back and sell it in Europe at a higher rate. I hope this much was clear. Okay? Now, what was it that they wanted to buy? So they all wanted the same things. जो चीज़ें यूरोप में नहीं मिल रही थी वो उनको इंडिया से खरीदनी थी. And what were those things? Basically cotton, silk, spices like pepper, cardamom. Cardamom is elaichi, cloves, which is long, and cinnamon, which is dalchini. ठीक है? And all of these companies, English, Dutch, French, they all fought with each other. एक दूसरे की शिप डुबा दी, किसी की वेयर हाउस में सामान रखा था वहाँ से चोरी कर लिया. Why? Basically because they wanted to have an advantage, right? And while they were fighting with each other, they also had to deal with local rulers. जहाँ पे इंडिया में they were trading, it's not like those rulers were saying, हाँ please come fight on my land, you're more than welcome. Those rulers were concerned that what if, you know, we lose out money, or what if our people get hurt. So they didn't want that, right? Now, so basically, why have we looked at all of this till now? That from now, when we look at the chapter, keep that in mind, that the East India Company is coming to India to trade, to buy all of these items at a cheap price and sell it at a higher price in Europe. Iklota main motive is to earn a profit. That is what the East India Company actually wants. Okay. Now, let's quickly jot down these other new words on page 11. Okay. Now, the place where the East India Company first came to when it sailed from Europe, it sailed all the way from here, it went all the way this side and landed in uh, what we know today as the state of West Bengal, but what was back then Calcutta, right? Most famous place that we know of is Calcutta. So it set up its first trading post or its factory in Bengal on the banks of the river Hooghly. Why? Because Hooghly के through easily the ships जिस पे सामान लोड करके लेके जाना है, it was very easy to get it up the river in 1651. And in this factory, when we use the word factory, वो यहाँ कुछ बना नहीं रहे. It was basically a warehouse plus an office where they would keep a record of all the things they've bought, all of the things that they have to send back to Europe on the ships. The traders who were working for the East India Company, they were all called factors. Okay. And basically these factors, what did they do? जो local Bengali लोग हैं, जो Indian लोग हैं, जो वहाँ रह रहे थे, they tried and convinced them कि जो हमारा फैक्ट्री है जहाँ पर हमने हमारा बिजनेस सेटअप किया है, you should set up your shops, small shops. So let's say if there's someone who was selling pepper, right? So they would tell that pepper seller कि you come sell your pepper here near where our factory is, because हमारे से तुमको कितना सारा बिजनेस मिलेगा, हम तुम्हारा कितना सारा सामान खरीदेंगे. So it's beneficial for both of us. It's easy for us also. We don't have to look around here and there to buy paper. It's easy for you also. You have a ready customer available. And in 1696, the East India Company decided to also build a fort around the factory, basically for defensive purposes. Fort is a किला, ठीक है? तो अपने आप को बचाने के लिए they built a fort. किससे बचा रहे हैं? बाकी ट्रेडिंग कंपनीज से, ठीक है? Now, in 1698, Mughal officers, so keep in mind at this point, the rulers of India are still the Mughals. So, the Mughal officers in Bengal, they are bribed to give the East India Company zamindari rights over 3 villages. Zamindari rights क्या हुई? Basically कि to say that this all of this land of these 3 villages belongs to the East India Company, and the East India Company will have the right to collect the taxes from this land. अब ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी के पास क्या हो गई है? सोर्स ऑफ इनकम है, तो वो एक प्राइवेट ट्रेडिंग कंपनी, बट नाउ इट इज स्टार्टिंग टू अर्न मनी. Earlier, what was happening? East India Company was getting money from Europe, buying goods in India and paying that money to Indians. Now what is happening? East India Company is already in India. It has zamindari rights. It's collecting money from Indian people. It is using that money to buy pepper, to buy cotton, to buy silk, whatever it is. Then it is taking all of those goods and sending them back in Europe and earning lots of money in Europe, which it doesn't need to bring back to India because वो इंडिया में ऑलरेडी पैसे कमा रहे. Apart from the zamindari rights, Aurangzeb, who was the Mughal ruler at that point in 1691, granted a farman. Farman is basically like an order that said that the East India Company could trade duty free. What does it mean to trade duty free? You pay a duty to the government every time you want to import something into the country or export something out of the country. आपको एक extra tax देना पड़ता है क्या आप कंट्री में, देश में कुछ लेके आ रहे हो या देश से कुछ लेके जा रहे हो. तो ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी को अब ये राइट दिया गया that they would no longer have to pay these duties. Okay, duty free. Now this farman only was applied to East India Company. लेकिन ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी के अलावा भी there were traders, English traders, who were trading with India. The royal charter of Queen Elizabeth did not apply to private ekad trader, single trader doing his business. It only applied to other trading companies. So there were lots of private traders who were also trading with India, and basically these private traders, they were like, yeah, agar East India Company is not paying duties and is not paying these taxes, plus it's also collecting taxes, why should we also have to pay? So what did they say? We refuse to pay taxes too. And this led to basically a conflict between the private English traders and the Nawab of Bengal, who was Murshid Quli Khan. He was Murshid Quli Khan was ruling Bengal on behalf of the Mughals. Okay? Now, first, quickly jot down these keywords on page 12, then we'll move forward. Okay, now, the Nawabs of Bengal were ruling on behalf of the Mughals, and once Aurangzeb died in 1707, these Nawabs became even more powerful. ठीक है? They realized कि अब Mughals have become weaker. वो दिल्ली में बैठे हैं, उनको क्या पता चल रहा है कलकत्ता में क्या हो रहा है. So slowly they started taking decisions on their own without asking the Mughal rulers in New Delhi, what is today New Delhi. So after Murshid Quli Khan, the ruler was Alivardi Khan, followed by Sirajuddaulah. Okay? And all of these people, they had dealings with the East India Company. These rulers, they demanded tributes from the East India Company. They demanded some gifts, they demanded some money. If you want to continue trading in Bengal, you have to give us all of this. And it did not allow, all of these people did not allow the East India Company to mint coins. Now, mint coins matlab to make coins. And think about it, why should the rulers of Bengal allow a private trading company to make coins, right? वो तो गवर्नमेंट नहीं है, तो कोई प्राइवेट इंसान अपने खुद के कॉइन्स थोड़ी बना सकता है. सो दे रिफ्यूज टू let them make their own coins, and they also refuse to let them construct more forts for defense purposes. Okay, now they had lots of complaints with the East India Company, the rulers, the Nawabs of Bengal, and they said that the East India Company is undermining their authority, is trying to reduce their authority. They're not paying their taxes, they're not paying their dues, and they're being very disrespectful. वो उनकी बात नहीं सुन रहे हैं, वो उनसे ड्यूज मांग रहे हैं, सुन नहीं रहे, उनसे ट्रिब्यूट्स मांग रहे हैं, वो दे नहीं रहे. So they're like, you're being very disrespectful, and this led to lots of battles of fights or small wars between the local rulers and the East India Company. Okay. Now, this is something that I had already mentioned in the class on Saturday, but basically the next topic I will go through it in these videos, but I want everybody to jot this down. Groups, I told you, you can divide yourself. Depending on your class strength, you can divide it. You can be groups of 6, groups of 7. And each group will pick either Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, Anglo-Maratha War or Anglo-Mysore War. I request the class monitor to make sure that all groups don't pick the same. So if one group has taken Battle of Plassey, the others have to take one of these 3. Okay, so that we are able to cover all the topics. Now, what you need to do is, through a role play or a skit, when school reopens, you have to find out this information and depict that these points of information in that skit. So who were the groups that were fighting? Who were the important leaders in the group? For what reason did the war start? What happened during the war, during the battle? Any interesting event that happened in the battle? When you start looking for information, you'll find a lot of nice, interesting information available. Who was the winner of the war or the battle, and what was the result of that war? The next few pages of the chapter will all be covered through this subject enrichment activity, and you'll understand it really well when you are looking for this information yourself, and when you create a skit or a role play about it. Okay, this is part of your subject enrichment activity, which means internal assessment का हिस्सा है. So इसके marks will be added, right? Once again, I'm repeating myself. When I come back, immediately after we come back from the summer holidays, we will start with this skit. Now, right now, Battle of Plassey onwards, I'm stopping now today here for now. I request the teacher to show the relevant video from extra marks as well to cover the same topic, and the rest we can do tomorrow. Thank you. I want everybody to write this subject enrichment activity in their diaries so that you can plan and prepare accordingly in the summer holidays. Thank you.